I gotta say, I really like Shiki's approach to this. I mean, you can always complain, not really, how much this was a one shot or everything else, but it wasn't really. This wasn't that typical one shot about, hey, let's just do this and I'll defeat you. No, this was actually a defeat that required a strange amount of thinking, to be honest. Although it does raise one question, a question I actually myself have had for a little bit, and that is Shiki really human? I mean, there hasn't really been any applications as of yet that he's, well, what is the word? Not human. He was raised by robots, he was trained by the Demon King, so of course he is beyond human understanding. And he used the full power of his gravity ether gear this time, which we could really see was powerful. But what I mean is, what is it possible that he really isn't human? After all, what is the connection to Mother and stuff like that? Yeah, the engram we found here. Eden Server chapter 66. As Madame Kurenai's villain's breakdown gets more and more of the fact that she don't have time to waste here since she has to deal with Draken, who by the way we still don't know anything about. She uses the full power of her forms of her robot and begins to destroy the district even more, and fires a Queen Nova fire that always targets its target. Shiki cannot outrun it and dash in the last second. So it's here he actually shows his creativity. He flies right towards the robot and lands on it. But Kurenai says that the robot cannot be damaged by its own weapons. But that is not exactly what Shiki is thinking of. He remembers the time he damaged the robot himself, even though he used that by using the force of the gravity he gathered, but then shut it off right in the same second, so he only delivered a fast punch, so to speak. So he decides to use the combination. As soon as the Queen missile gets close to him, he activates his gravity ether gear and uses his, I presume, his workable hand to grab it and instead of it exploding, he holding it back with his gravity. As he spread his ether gear, he actually uses the combination of the force, well, maybe not, but this is how I see it at least. He's using the combination force of the missile that is still flying towards him, combined with the power of his ether gear of changing gravity. He is, as Madame Kurenai is saying, turning the missile's kinetic energy into gravity, and and he places his other hand on it. There's some worry here that shouldn't his hand be broken? Why can he still place it? But I guess that still goes hand to hand with Shiki is not normal. It doesn't matter if he has broken bones, he can still fight. So using that combined energy, he actually creates a gravity impact that is enough for the robot to completely break. And even manages to, as soon as the missile do explode, the gravity of his ether gear is actually holding back the explosion on him. This is a very smart way of fighting, to be perfectly honest. Some may say that it doesn't make sense, and I'm saying it's a science fiction. Do you really have to make everything sense? At least he didn't defeat him with the power of friendship and all that stuff. So you should just stop complaining about that. Shiki used creativity things here. As the robot is destroyed, it's very satisfying to see Madame Kurenai in the rubble as Shiki with his full power ether gear, I presume that is his full power, looming over her. As she trembles, wonders if he is really human. And again, is Shiki truly really human? Connection with the mother that we do not know yet seems to suggest otherwise. But we will find that out eventually. The Heavenly Punishers has also been shut down thanks to Nino, who has been moved by Rebecca's words. Anime will save the universe, but can I save anyone? And the fact that Rebecca believes that it's Nino wonders. Homura also apologizes for being late, but then Shiki appears, having bind up Madame Kurenai and dragged her all the way to Homura, fulfilling Valkyrie's wish to drag him there. As mother and daughter reunite, they can only look at each other. As Madame Kurenai has a look of complete, not despair, but complete this cannot be displeasure. And Homura just has a small look of anger and shock. Well, the Valkyrie promise has been fulfilled. Although what happens next is doesn't know. It was very satisfying to see Madame Kurenai's arrogant face finally broken as Shiki loomed over her. But if you ask me, part of me really wished that Homura had joined in that fight and ended this. But in the end, Homura had her sadness crisis, and so that was simply her own duel. I wouldn't really say that mother and daughter are now reunited, but what awaits us next is the only real problem. Will Madame Kurenai spew every single thing she has said on how much she considered Homura a wastrel? Or will she try to do her crocodile tears like she did with Valkyrie back then? I don't really know what to expect, but hopefully Homura will dismiss her as the monster she is, and fully say that she knew who her true mother was, and her true mother was Valkyrie. Now, technically, this fight is over. Everything here, there is only the conflict of Homura and her mother left. Because what's after that is we still haven't seen Drakenjo, and don't get me wrong, I don't want to see Drakenjo. It's just that I want an answer. Has he successfully taken Eden Zero? I really wish he did not have taken the ship, but if we are to get another arc, then what better arc is there to find rather than versus Drakenjo, you know? And the only way that I can see that is if he takes the ship. But Shiki is wounded and all that stuff. So yeah, a very satisfying chapter. I don't really have any big complaints. My only big complaint is that it felt so short. But give me a fuss if you have any.